I'm Carol Mitchell, 34 years old, standing in the soft glow of pink balloons and pastel streamers at my sister Becky's baby shower in Willow Creek, Pennsylvania. The air smells of sugar cookies and fresh flowers, but there's a knot in my stomach that won't unravel. 5 years ago, I left this small town for Chicago, chasing a dream my family never understood. They see me as the unmarried sister, the one who chose a career over a husband, a city over roots. But today, everything they think they know about me is about to change. In just a few moments, a doorbell will ring, and the truth I've kept hidden for years will walk through that door. Stick with me, because this story of family, secrets, and redemption will leave you speechless. Before we dive in, I need you to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who's ever felt overlooked or misunderstood. Drop a comment below. Have you ever had to reveal a hard truth to your family? Let's build a community of real stories together. Growing up in Willow Creek was like living under a magnifying glass. Our town had one main street, 3 churches, and a whole lot of expectations. Everyone knew your business, and in the Mitchell family, my place was clear from the start, second best. My younger sister, Becky, was the golden child, born with perfect blonde curls and a temperament that charmed everyone. I was the odd one out, too ambitious, too stubborn, with dreams that stretched beyond the town limits. Our childhood home on Maple Avenue was a stage for subtle favoritism. When Becky brought home B's on her report card, Mom would bake her favorite chocolate chip cookies, the kitchen filling with that warm, sugary scent. When I brought home straight A's, I'd get distracted. "That's nice, dear," while Mom adjusted Becky's dance recital costume. Dad was different. Robert Mitchell had kind eyes and a quiet patience that made me feel seen. After dinner, he'd slip into my room with small gifts, a bookmark, a notebook, once even a second-hand camera when I mentioned I liked photography. "Don't let anyone dim your light, Carol," he'd whisper, his voice steady and warm. Those moments were my lifeline, a reminder that someone believed in me. But 7 years ago, Dad's sudden heart attack stole him from us. I still see that day clearly. Mom and Becky huddled together at the funeral, their grief a tight circle I couldn't enter. I stood apart, feeling like an intruder in my own family's sorrow. That was when the fracture began. When I announced I was moving to Chicago for a marketing job at Anderson & Burke, Mom's response was predictable. "But what about settling down here? Mark Edwards has always had his eye on you." Mark, who never left Willow Creek and worked at his father's insurance agency, was her idea of my best prospect. "I have a master's degree in marketing. Mom, this is a huge opportunity," I said, trying to keep my voice even. "Degrees don't keep you warm at night," she replied, her eyes drifting to Becky, who had just gotten engaged to her high school sweetheart, James. The day I left, Becky hugged me awkwardly and said, "I don't understand why you'd want to leave, but good luck. I guess." It wasn't cruel, just clueless. She couldn't imagine a life different from her own. For 5 years, I built my life in Chicago, piece by piece. My apartment overlooking Lake Michigan became my sanctuary, its wide windows letting in golden light that felt like freedom. My career thrived. I climbed the ranks at Anderson & Burke, eventually leading their digital marketing division. But there was so much more to my life that my family didn't know. Christmas cards and short, obligatory phone calls were all we shared, growing briefer each year. Then, 3 months ago, Becky's email arrived, "Baby on the way." Her words gushed about her pregnancy, James's promotion, their nursery plans. The last line hit hard. "It would mean so much if you could come home for the baby shower. Mom says it's been too long." The word aunt landed like a stone in my chest. Standing in my kitchen, staring at that email, I made a decision that would change everything. The Willow Creek Community Center was decked out in pink, just as I'd expected. Aunt Patricia, Mom's older sister, greeted me with a warm hug. "Look at you, city girl. You're glowing," she said, her eyes kind but sharp, like she saw more than she let on. I always liked Patricia. She'd traveled before settling down, had opinions that sometimes shocked the town, and seemed to respect my ambition. She was the only one who'd visited me in Chicago, though she never told Mom or Becky. Cousin Rachel was there too, her 3 kids darting around her legs. "Carol, I can't believe you're here," she said, wrestling her youngest. "You're lucky you're free to come and go as you please." That word free hung heavy, like an accusation. Freedom versus family, the eternal Willow Creek divide. Becky's best friend, Megan, was directing the gift table with military precision. She'd never liked me, always thought I acted too good for this town. "Oh, Carol, didn't expect you'd make it," she said, her smile as fake as the plastic flowers on the table. I set down my gift, a handcrafted silver baby bracelet from a Chicago artisan, chosen after weeks of searching. I wanted it to show I cared, even from afar. As guests arrived, I retreated to a corner, watching Mom fuss over Becky, who glowed in a pale pink maternity dress, her baby bump the star of the show. For a moment, seeing them together, I felt that old ache, not jealousy, but a deep sadness for what I'd never had with Mom. "Carol, you actually made it!" Becky called, waddling toward me, her voice carrying over the chatter. Heads turned, eyes curious and judging. These were people who'd known me forever, who'd watched me leave and whispered about why I hadn't come back. "Wouldn't miss it," I said, hugging her awkwardly around her belly. She smelled like the strawberry shampoo she'd used since high school. "Still as thin as ever," she said, stepping back. "Must be nice not having to worry about pregnancy weight." Her smile was sweet, but the jab was clear. "You look beautiful." "Becky, pregnancy suits you," I replied, meaning it. "Mrs. Peterson, my old English teacher, joined us with a glass of punch. Carol Mitchell. What a surprise. We were just saying how Becky's carrying on the family tradition, starting her family here. Still in Chicago. Not married yet." Before I could answer, Becky chimed in. "Oh, Carol's married to her job. Aren't you, sis? No time for dating when you're climbing the corporate ladder." She laughed, linking her arm with mine like we were in on the joke. "My career's going well." "Yes," I said carefully, "but I'm not all work." Mom joined us, adding, "She sends the most interesting Christmas cards. Just Carol in front of Chicago landmarks. No boyfriend, no family pictures like normal people." Heat crept up my neck. "I thought you'd like seeing the city." Mom, "Well, it'd be nice to see you settling down. You're 34, dear, not getting any younger." Megan clapped her hands, saving me from replying. "Ladies, time for baby shower games." The first game was guessing Becky's belly size with yarn. When I underestimated, laughter erupted. "Carol has no idea about pregnancy bodies." Becky giggled. "That's what happens when you're the last single woman in the room." I forced a smile, though at least 3 other women there were unmarried. My singleness was somehow the main event. The next game, Who Knows Mommy Best, was worse. I got most answers wrong, and Becky sighed dramatically. I guess that's what happens when you only call once a month and visit every 5 years. No one mentioned that phone calls work both ways, or that I'd invited Becky to Chicago multiple times, only to be told it was too far or too expensive, even when I offered to pay. I excused myself to the restroom, locking the door and pulling out my phone. I texted, "They're worse than I expected. You sure about this?" The reply came instantly. "On our way. ETA 30 minutes. Love you." I splashed water on my face, took a deep breath, and went back out. Becky was seated like a queen for the gift opening, the room buzzing with excitement. "Before we start," she announced, "I want to thank everyone, especially my sister Carol, who managed to tear herself away from her important Chicago life to be here for once." She winked, and the chuckles that followed made my smile feel brittle. She opened gift after gift onesies, blankets, toys each met with oohs and ahs. When she got to my bracelet, she barely glanced at it, passing it to Mom. "Very nice," Mom said flatly, setting it aside without showing it off like she had with other gifts. "It's sterling silver," I said. "You can engrave the baby's name and birth date." "How fancy," Becky replied, her smile tight. "I hope she doesn't lose it at daycare." By the dessert table, Becky cornered me, holding a plate of cupcakes. "So, seriously, not even dating anyone at your age?" "My age," I echoed, keeping my tone light. "You make 34 sound ancient." "Well, it's not young in the baby department," she said, patting her belly. "I'm just concerned. Sis, don't you want what I have? A husband, a family, roots." Before I could answer, Mom joined us, beaming at Becky. "Look at my beautiful daughter, glowing with her first baby." "I'm her daughter too," I thought, but didn't say. "Still single?" Sweetheart Becky asked, loud enough for others to hear. No special someone in that big city. Mom laughed, touching Becky's shoulder. "Becky's having her first baby. You should be taking notes." "Carol, this could be you if you prioritized the right things." I stayed quiet, the weight of their words settling on me. Then the doorbell rang, and despite everything, I smiled. The room turned as Megan was about to announce another game. My heart raced as Thomas stepped in, holding our 4-year-old daughter, Lily, in his arms. Thomas looked handsome in his navy blazer, his blue eyes calm and steady. Lily, in her favorite yellow dress, her dark curls framing her face, squirmed to get down. The room froze in confusion. This wasn't a familiar face. Definitely not an invited guest. Thomas's eyes found mine, his reassuring smile giving me strength. "Sorry we're late," he said, his voice cutting through the silence. Traffic from the airport was rough. He walked toward me, Lily wriggling free. "Who's this?" Mom asked, her voice tight. I took a deep breath. "Mom, Becky, everyone. This is Thomas, my husband." The silence was deafening. Becky's mouth dropped open, her hand clutching her belly. "You're what Mom whispered." Thomas extended his hand. "Thomas Matthews, Carol's husband. We've been married for 5 years. Wonderful to meet you, Mrs. Mitchell." Mom didn't take his hand, her eyes darting between us. Mommy Lily ran to me, and I knelt to catch her in a hug, breathing in her baby shampoo scent. "Hi, sweetheart. Good flight. Daddy let me have 2 cookies," she announced. The room gasped. I stood, Lily on my hip, facing everyone, and this is our daughter, Lily. She turned 4 last month. 4, Mom repeated, her face pale. "You've had a child for 4 years and never told us." Becky sank into a chair, one hand over her mouth. Aunt Patricia spoke up, her voice calm. "I think we should give Carol a moment to explain." Her slight smile told me she'd suspected something. "Explain?" Mom's voice hardened. "Explain how my daughter has been married with a child and never told us." Thomas touched my back gently. "We know this is a shock," he said, "but there's more." I unzipped my jacket, revealing my own baby bump. "Carol and I are expecting our second child, due in 4 months." Chaos erupted. Becky burst into tears. Mom sank into a chair, and the guests whispered frantically. "You're pregnant," Becky cried. "You came to my baby shower pregnant and didn't say anything. How could you be so selfish?" "Selfish," I repeated, stung. "I've kept my life private because every time I tried to share, it was dismissed." "That's not true," Mom protested. "Isn't it?" I countered, my voice trembling. "When I got into Northwestern with a scholarship, you complained about moving costs. When I landed my first big account, you talked about Becky's engagement. Every milestone was less important than Becky's. So you punished us by hiding our grandchild." Mom's voice cracked. Lily clung to me, whispering, "Why is that lady crying?" "It's complicated, sweetie," I said, kissing her forehead. "That's your Aunt Becky and Grandma Eleanor, the ones in the pictures." Thomas stepped forward. "We didn't come to cause upset. We came to bridge this gap for Lily, for our new baby, for all of us." Aunt Patricia took Lily for a cupcake, breaking the ice. James shook Thomas's hand, saying, "Quite a surprise, but congratulations." Mom stood, her voice sharp. "Carol and I need to talk privately." She led me to a small office, her back rigid. Thomas squeezed my hand as I followed. Inside, Mom faced me, tears in her eyes. "How could you keep my granddaughter from me? What kind of daughter does that? The kind who was tired of being less than—" I said, "I tried to tell you about Thomas. That Thanksgiving 5 years ago. I said I was dating someone special, and you talked about Becky's house hunting. When we got engaged, I called, and you interrupted to talk about Becky's promotion." Mom's brow furrowed. "You never said you were engaged, because you didn't let me." After a lifetime of my news being overshadowed, I stopped trying. We got married quietly at the Chicago Botanic Garden, just friends. When Lily was born, I sent you an email with photos. You replied. "She's cute. Becky and James are thinking of starting a family." I showed her the email on my phone. She read it, her expression shifting from defiance to confusion. "I don't remember this." "Of course you don't," I sighed. "It's been like this my whole life. Every achievement measured against Becky's and found wanting. When Lily was born, I couldn't bear for her to feel that. It wasn't punishment, it was protection." Mom sank into a chair. "I never meant to make you feel that way. Intention doesn't change impact," I said. "Thomas saw it after one dinner," he said. "Now I understand why you never feel good enough." Mom looked older, smaller. "I never meant it," she whispered. A knock came, and Aunt Patricia peeked in. "Becky's upset and asking for her mother." Mom stood, torn. "I should go to her." "Of course," I said, bitterness creeping in. "Becky needs you. Like always. That's not fair." Mom said. "Isn't it?" I shot back. "Even now, with a granddaughter you didn't know and another grandchild coming, you go to Becky. I'm pregnant too. Mom, I'm your daughter too. But I've never been enough." Patricia stepped in, closing the door. "Eleanor, Carol's right. You've always favored Becky, and everyone sees it." Mom looked shocked. "I love both my daughters equally. Love isn't just a feeling," I said. "It's actions, attention, making someone feel valued." "When did you last ask about my life without changing the subject to Becky?" Mom opened her mouth, then closed it. She couldn't remember. Patricia spoke gently. "There's hurt on all sides. Eleanor, you created this distance. Carol, keeping Lily's secret caused pain. Whatever your reasons." I nodded. "I never wanted it this way. I wanted Lily to know her family, but I couldn't bear her feeling dismissed." "She's beautiful," Mom said softly. "She looks like you at that age. Has Thomas's eyes." "And your spirit," Thomas added, appearing with Lily. Someone was asking for her mom. Lily ran to me, and I lifted her despite my bump. "Everything okay?" "Sweetheart," she nodded, whispering. "The crying lady wants to talk to you. That's your Aunt Becky." I said, "We should talk to her. Together. As a family." Mom nodded. "Yes, as a family." Thomas held me back for a moment. "You okay?" "Getting there," I said. "No more secrets." He kissed my forehead. "I'm right beside you." Back in the main room, most guests had left, leaving just close family and Megan, hovering near Becky. Becky sat in the gift-opening chair, her makeup streaked, James behind her. Lily clung to me, so I sent her with Patricia for cupcakes. "We need to clear the air," I said. Becky looked up, eyes red. "Clear the air. You dropped this bomb at my baby shower, my special day. About a secret family. How do you clear that? I understand you're hurt. I said, hurt, she snapped. You've been lying for years. We're sisters, but I don't know you anymore. That's just it, I said, stepping closer. You never really knew me. Neither of you did. You saw me as the career-obsessed spinster. It was easier than asking about my life. I asked. Becky said, every time we talked, I asked about Chicago, and when I answered, you'd interrupt with Willow Creek news or your life. Conversations always circled back to you. James cleared his throat. Maybe I should give you sisters privacy. No, Becky said, gripping his hand. I need someone on my side. This isn't about sides, Thomas said. Carol tried to share our life, but she was shut down. That's not true, Becky protested. Actually, it is, James said quietly, surprising us. Beck, I've seen you dominate calls with Carol, change the subject when she talks about her life. Last Christmas, you talked for 40 minutes about our kitchen renovation. When I asked what was new with Carol, you said, nothing really, same old Chicago stuff? Becky fell silent, thoughtful. I took a breath. I should have tried harder. That's on me. But can you see why it was easier to keep things private? Marriage. A child. These aren't small details, Mom said, pained. It happened gradually. I explained. Thomas and I met at a marketing conference. He ran a graphic design firm in Chicago. We dated, fell in love, and he proposed at the Chicago Botanic Garden. We married 2 months later, a small ceremony with friends. When I tried to tell you, Becky called about her promotion, and the conversation was about that. When Lily was born, I sent photos. Your response was minimal, and it hurt. The longer I went without telling you, the harder it was. Why now? Becky asked, her anger softening to confusion. Why reveal this at my baby shower? Thomas answered. Because of the babies, our daughter, our son, your daughter. They're cousins, family. We didn't want them growing up as strangers. It's a boy, Mom asked, looking at my bump. I nodded, smiling despite the tension. Lily's thrilled about her brother. A grandson, Mom said, a tear falling. And a granddaughter who's been asking about her grandma. You have pictures of us? Becky asked, surprised. Of course, I said. Our home's full of family photos. Lily knows you, even if she hadn't met you until today. This softened them. I should have tried harder, I said. But so should you. Relationships go both ways. James broke the silence. This isn't how we expected today to go, but maybe it's what needed to happen. You're sisters, about to be mothers. Time to start fresh. Becky looked at me, really looked at me. I never realized you felt overlooked. I was jealous of you, the successful one who got out of Willow Creek. Jealous of me, I said, stunned. You had everything I wanted, Mom's attention, Dad's approval, a clear path. I envied your freedom, your adventures. Becky laughed, a short, almost hysterical sound. What's funny? I asked. Us, she said, wiping a tear, both thinking the other had it better. What a waste. I want to know my niece, Becky said suddenly. And my nephew. Can we start there? I'd like that. I said. Mom spoke, hesitant. I've made mistakes with both of you. I never meant to make you feel less, Carol, or pressure you to be perfect. Becky, we all contributed, Thomas said. But we're here now. It's not too late. Lily ran back, her face chocolate smeared. Mommy, can I show Grandma my doll? Mom's face softened at Grandma. I'd love to see it. Sweetheart, she said, her voice thick. Becky caught my eye. Your daughter's beautiful. She has your smile. It wasn't forgiveness, but it was a start. The community center grew quiet as evening fell. Only our family remained: Mom, Becky, James, Thomas, me, Patricia, and Lily, now on Mom's lap, showing off her doll's wardrobe. She has 3 dresses, Lily said seriously. The blue one's for parties. Very pretty, Mom replied, handling the tiny fabric carefully. I watched them, a mix of emotions swirling. Seeing my daughter with my mother was profound, despite everything. You okay? Thomas asked, handing me tea. Relieved, exhausted, maybe hopeful. I said, it was the right choice to bring Lily. He kissed my head. She deserves to know her family. Becky approached, gesturing to the kitchenette. Can we talk? Just sisters, I followed, and she leaned against the counter, vulnerable. I've been thinking about what you said, how I made conversations about me. I didn't realize. Most people don't. I said gently, you weren't malicious. Still, I feel terrible, she said, twisting her ring. All those times you tried to share, and I steamrolled you. I could have been more persistent, I admitted. I could have said, Becky, shut up. I'm getting married. She smiled. James said we keep repeating childhood roles, the golden child and the afterthought. I winced at my bluntness, but she nodded. Honest, maybe we needed that. For what it's worth, she said, I never saw you as an afterthought. You were the brave one who escaped. I admired and envied that. I envied you. I confessed. Mom's approval, Dad's affection. Knowing what you wanted, nothing was easy. She said, I worked hard to make it look that way. I'm terrified of becoming a mother. Carol. Nightmares for months. Really. But you're great with kids. Teaching's one thing. 24/7 is another. I'm scared I'll mess up. Join the club. I laughed. I cried daily for 2 weeks after Lily was born. Thomas Googled if it was normal. She laughed. A sound like our rare good moments growing up. Is it normal hormones? Sleep deprivation? Responsibility? It's a lot, but you'll figure it out. James will be a great dad. He will? She smiled. He's read 5 parenting books. What about Thomas? He recorded bedtime stories for Lily with character voices. I shared. Adorable, she said. He seems like a good man. The best. I agreed. I'd like to know him. And Lily, she said, and I want to be a real aunt to your daughter. I'd like that, I said, tears pricking. Stupid pregnancy hormones. She laughed, blinking back her own. She gestured to my bump. Can I nodded, guiding her hand to where my son kicked. Oh, she exclaimed as he moved. Mine does somersaults that make me nauseous. Lily was the same. Saltines and ginger ale for months. Me too. She said, pleased. Mom called from the main room. Girls, Lily wants to show us family pictures. Should we go? Becky asked. I think we should. I said, fair warning. Thomas loves themed holiday photos. James made us dress as elves last Christmas, she said. As we rejoined them, hope bloomed. Things weren't fixed, but we were really talking for the first time in years. Thomas projected photos on the community center screen. Lily pointed at a zoo picture. That's me feeding the giraffe. His tongue was purple. Thomas is quite the photographer. Patricia said, it's a hobby. He replied. Our wedding, I added. As a shot of us at the Botanic Garden appeared, cherry blossoms framing our vows. Mom made a small sound. Tears in her eyes. You were a beautiful bride, she said. Thank you, I replied softly. The slideshow continued Lily's first steps. Preschool graduation, family trips, ordinary moments made special. I wish we'd been there. Mom said, you can be for the ones to come. Thomas said, we'd like that. James said, maybe visit us after the babies are born. Both babies. Or come to Chicago. I offered. Lily would love to show her cousin the bean. I want to see the big bean, Lily chimed in, making everyone smile. As we left, Mom hugged me carefully. I'm sorry for so many things. Me too, I said. But we're here now. Driving to our hotel. Lily dozing. Thomas took my hand. Proud of you. I squeezed back, watching Willow Creek's streets pass by. For the first time, I felt I had both families, my chosen one with Thomas and Lily, and my birth family. Imperfect, but mine. 3 months later, I arranged flowers in our Chicago apartment, nervous energy buzzing. Mom, Becky, and James were coming to visit. They're just family, Thomas said, adjusting a place setting. Good strange or bad strange, he asked. Different strange, but good, I decided. Lily raced to the door as the bell rang, squealing. They're here! Mom stepped in, her eyes finding me. Carol, you're glowing. The compliment warmed me. Thanks. Mom, how was the flight better than expected? She said. Grandma Lily launched herself at Mom, who knelt to hug her. I've missed you, Mom said, the words natural despite their short time together. Becky waddled in, our bellies matching. Look at us, the Mitchell sisters with synchronized pregnancies. I laughed, hugging her carefully. How are you feeling? Like a whale, she said. 2 weeks until my due date. 4 for me, I said. Thomas thinks this guy's coming early. Lunch flowed easily. Lily's preschool stories, James and Thomas's craft beer debate. Mom asked about our business. Surprising me, we started Matthews and Mitchell 3 years ago. I said, Thomas handles design, I manage strategy. A perfect partnership, she observed. It is. I agreed. Are you still working? Becky asked. Curious, mostly from home. I said, I'll take a few months off after the baby. After lunch, Mom pulled out a photo album. I thought Lily might like to see her mom at her age. Memories flooded back Becky and me in Easter dresses, with Dad at the fair. I've been thinking, Mom said. When your father died, I was lost. Becky's path was familiar. But you, Carol, were like him, independent, ambitious. That scared me. You reminded me of what I'd lost. I was stunned. It was never because I loved you less, she said. It was my weakness, my grief. Thank you for telling me, I said, tears falling. I wish Dad could have met Thomas and Lily, Becky said. He'd have adored them, Mom assured us. Lily climbed onto the couch, seeing a photo of me at 4. That's you. You were little like me. We laughed, the tension breaking. The weekend was filled with plans, the Bean, the aquarium, a special restaurant. After they left, Thomas and I stood by our window, the Chicago skyline glowing. Your mom's trying, he said. I think it means a lot to all of us. I said, having Lily changed my perspective. I want her to know her roots. What about your mom staying after the baby's born? He asked. I want to say yes. I decided it won't be perfect, but it'll be good. 2 weeks later, Becky gave birth to Emma Grace. She's beautiful, she said over video, radiant. 3 days later, our son, Robert Thomas, arrived, named for my father, holding him, with Lily touching his fingers. I reflected on our journey, the pain, the secrets, the courage to break through. Family requires honesty, vulnerability, forgiveness. My phone buzzed with Becky's text. How are my nephew and sister moms coming tomorrow? I smiled, replying, We're great. Can't wait for you to meet him. Peace settled over me. The road wouldn't be smooth, but we'd chosen to be family messy, imperfect, real. Life isn't about a perfect family. It's about being authentic, standing in your truth, offering grace. That's what I want for my children, connection through courage, not flawless facades. Have you ever revealed a hard truth to your family? How did you find the courage? Share your stories in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with someone struggling with family ties. Knowing we're not alone is the first step to healing. Thank you for joining me. Remember, it's never too late to build stronger, authentic connections.